Hello, once again, welcome to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I'm your host, as always, the mouth of Michigan, Rob Mendecker. With me, as always, my co-hosts, the Merc Zone, Mike Merkel.
Yes, I'm here.
And the man, Kyle Budzanowski.
I'm here.
That's pretty much.
Wait, are you
that's
sure you're here?
Yeah, that's an indictment
Physically,
of how he feels about yesterday's Michigan football performance, which we will get into in depth. Guys, we're going to have a little bit of a different format this week. Not as many topics. We're going to be giving you guys almost like 2 or 3 quick hitter type episodes where we're going to be basically we're going to go in depth on the Lions roster cuts as well as what the roster looks like as of current day. Then in the second half of this episode, we're going to give you some reviews on AEW's All Out show as well as NXT UK's Cardiff Takeover event. And then we're going to end the show with Kyle's favorite topic, Michigan football, and we're also going to talk some Michigan State Spartans and how they looked against both Middle Tennessee State and Tulsa, respectively. Lots of hot takes there. Let's just jump right into it, guys, though. I want to talk about this Lions roster. The official cuts happened yesterday, Saturday, 4 p.m. Yep. We know the final roster now. Some big names that were cut, though, I think first we should kind of go over. Tease Tabor, 2017 second-round pick, he gone. Isaac Nauta, seventh round pick out of Georgia, the tight end everybody thought would make the team. Mm-hmm. He's gone. P.J. Johnson, their other 7th round pick, he's gone. Charles Washington, a special teamer for the past several years, he's gone.
Goner.
He's gone too. Tom Savage, the guy who we all kind of assumed was going to be the backup quarterback to Matt Stafford, he gone too. That's just some of the names. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of others, but those are the kind of ones that kind of Brandon Powell, I guess, another one that people would have kind of thought he's upset. But let's just go through real quick, guys, and let's just go through the actual roster itself. Mike, who do we have at quarterback right now?
So we got who made the cut. We got the starter, Matthew Stafford, obviously.
Shocker.
Backup, we got Josh Johnson,
who won the job. Like on 3 weeks, basically. Yeah. 3 weeks worth of time.
And then we also have the Cleveland quarterback, David Blue.
Yeah, I don't know. He's French, clearly.
Yeah.
But they traded. They basically swapped 7th round picks and the quarterback with Cleveland before the cut. So he's riding on the 53 right now as well. So which is interesting to say the least. Are you surprised? Let's just start right here. Are you guys surprised that they kept 3 quarterbacks? It's the first time in Bob Quinn's time that they've kept 3 quarterbacks on roster.
As we'll go through, I'm shocked that they kept less offensive players. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of it's less depth on the offensive side.
Yeah.
But I don't think you needed 3. I think you could have been fine with 2. But I do think that with Stafford's pending injury status, with his back and everything, you don't know if he's 100%.
Right.
You're assuming that he is, but if he's not, having 2 backups, so in the case that he does get hurt, now you have Josh Johnson comes in, and then you have another safety blanket, another quarterback just in case, isn't a bad idea. So I kind of like it, but at the same time, I think you could have got rid of one and added an extra spot for maybe another receiver or another player in general. Do you think, because I know that Brian Hoyer was cut by New England, that's probably one of the bigger names out there right now. Kyle, do you think that Brian is a guy that they could bring in possibly pretty quickly here to bring in and replace maybe Josh Johnson? Or you got the New England ties, obviously, and let's be clear, Brian Hoyer's a much better quarterback than Josh Johnson is. Even though Brian Hoyer's up there in age, I think that he'd be a better backup than Josh Johnson or David Blue.
It's true. I mean, again, like you said, with the Patriots little thing they got going on, sometimes that's worked, sometimes it hasn't.
Right.
But I think it's good to have a veteran quarterback in case Matthew Stafford could hurt. But I also feel like it's good to to have a young quarterback if Matthew Stafford could hurt. Someone you could develop, someone that could get playing time, that you could develop to become your guy in the future.
Right.
Or obviously it might not be
Josh Johnson.
Right.
But David Bluff, though, they see something in him where he could be maybe a backup in the future.
Yeah.
Let's be all real, though. If Stafford goes down, the season's pretty much.
Well, here's the thing. I think if he goes down, but for a short period of time, and you had a Brian Hoyer, I don't think the season's done.
Right. Yeah.
If Josh Johnson's there, you lose all those games most likely that he's not there for. With Brian Hoyer, if you had the stretch of the Giants and Redskins that you have in the middle of the season,
split that.
You could probably split that, and then you're like, okay, now instead of being having 2-3 losses, you might have 1 to 2 losses, and that helps you out a little bit at that point. But
Stafford goes down for any extended period of time, we're all screwed. Yeah. All right, let's go running backs, Mike.
All right, so on our running backs, we got obviously probably the starter Kerryon Johnson, most likely. Yep. You got C.J. Anderson, the 6th round pick Ty Johnson,
from Maryland,
and Nick Baldwin as the fullback, but he counts as the backs. He will be our 4th running back. Guys who missed the cut: Mark Thompson, James Williams, and Justin Stockton. Didn't make the cut.
I'm a little surprised that they made some moves. Obviously, they cut Theo, which Ty Johnson is kind of filling that role. You know what I mean? But I legitimately think that with this, I'm not surprised with anybody that they cut. Mm-hmm. But if you look at this running back position, everybody's going to contribute, I feel like. I feel like Kerryon's obviously your presumed starter. You've got C.J. Anderson, who's going to be what you thought LeGarrette Blount was going to be last year for you. And Ty Johnson is Theo Riddick. Like, in every shape. Maybe he's not the most established route runner in the world, but he's faster. Mm-hmm. Obviously he's already built some type of rapport with the first-team offense, as we saw in preseason week 3, with the touchdown and everything. So, and Nick Bawden obviously going to be that fullback, H-back, could possibly play tight end in a pinch type of role, who's got good hands coming out of the backfield. So I feel like all 4 of those backs are going to contribute in a pretty major way, I'd say, for the offense. So I wasn't surprised to see any of those other guys get cut. I think there's a couple guys. The guy out of Florida, he would be somebody I would maybe see they could probably pick up and put on the practice squad if he clears waivers. But we'll see. Let's go to wide receivers.
Yep. So at the wide receiver position, Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola are your presumed starters who made the cut.
Right.
And then you got Chris Lazy and Travis Fulgham, who also made the cut. So you got 5 receivers.
Right.
Guys who missed it: Andy Jones, Brandon Powell, Tommy Lee Lewis, just to name a few of them.
Right.
Kyle, how do you feel about the receivers?
I mean, you could have better, but I feel like as long as, like he said, as long as Matthew Stafford doesn't get hurt, you could work with it. You could work, but if Matthew Stafford gets hurt, it doesn't matter what receivers you have. You have Block throwing them the ball, so it doesn't matter. So I think this all.
This guy's gonna be listening. He's got one fan. And he's gonna be like, you know what, fine, screw you guys too. But no, I think I agree with you. I mean, obviously, Kenny Galladay is the presumed number 1 now. I think he's kind of taken over the Marvin role. Yeah. I think Amendola is going to become the new golden safety blanket type of guy. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the tight ends here in a second, but I'm not surprised by the wide receivers. I think Travis Fulgham, the 6th round pick of Old Dominion, I think he kind of really made his mark the last 2 preseason games. Even with the fumble at the end of preseason week 3, I thought week 4, he was clearly the number 1 option for any quarterback that was in the game. Chris Lacy, they like a lot. He's a bigger guy. Yeah. I'm interested to see how Marvin looks going in. I think this is a make-or-break season for Marvin Jones. Not because he's played poorly in years past, but coming off the knee injury, he's at the end of his contract after next season. I feel like he's potentially a cap casualty next season, especially if Kenny G breaks out like we're all expecting him to do it. Yep. You know what I mean? So I would not be shocked to see that. And I think the wide receiver class in this upcoming draft is pretty deep. So I think the Lions could go early wide receiver or, free agency wise, and you can see some movement there. But right now, I really like our wide receiving core, especially at the top of the board.
Yeah, and that's the one where I would say if you didn't have that 3rd quarterback, I think like a Brandon Powell would be an awesome 6th, like another slot guy.
Right, for sure.
Because if Amendola gets hurt, you don't really have another slot guy, really.
Right.
I guess you put Ty Johnson out there, but there's not another. All the other guys are pretty big guys, so you don't really have that extra guy. But
let's go tight ends.
But now tight ends, So we got 3 here who made the cut. We got our 1st round pick T.J. Hockenson, obviously made it. Jesse James we got from the Steelers made it, and then Logan Thomas made it, and then guys who didn't make it, it's Isaac Nada, Jerome Cunningham, and Austin Traylor did not make it.
So I mean, I'm not Nada's the only one I would say is a little bit shocking. Mm-hmm. He had a lot of drops in the preseason, did not look consistent really, which. Once again, I'm guessing if they can, I wouldn't be shocked to see him be brought back onto the practice squad. But these tight ends, though, I'm surprised they didn't keep 4, honestly. But the 3 that they did keep, Logan Thomas got pretty limited exposure, but they seem to really like him. The Jesse James, T.J. Hockenson combination, though, that's going to be a big deal. Yeah. Like, straight up. Like, I really do think that they've transformed the tight end position on this roster, and you can tell that they made it a priority, and you can also tell that they didn't add just people. Like, I felt like last year, they tried to go for the home run ball with Gronkowski. That clearly didn't work. So they had to fill it up with a whole bunch of backups and a whole bunch of useless guys. But now you've got, I think, Hawkinson and Josh James. That's a 1-2 punch and Stafford loves his tight ends, where I think you're going to see a bounce-back season from Stafford just because the tight end plays a more important role in the offense. Yeah. And it has to, if we're being honest. I think it absolutely has to.
Yeah. So now we got the offensive line.
Yep.
So our presumed starting offensive line, you got Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, Graham Glasgow, Rick Wagner, and Kenny Wiggins. Probably going to be your starting line somewhere in that range. Yeah. You got Joe Dahl, who made it. Yep. Ode Abushi made it. Tyler Crosby made it. And then
Bo Benjaschwal, whatever his last name is. Right.
The guy from Wisconsin.
Yeah, the undrafted.
Those are all the guys who made the cut. Guys who did make the cut: Andrew Donnell, Matt Nelson, Ryan Pope.
Yeah,
not really much.
Yeah. Leo Kilamatangi, whatever his name is, too. I think the offensive line. I'm surprised. I mean, the couple of the guys that are to be on the lookout for, I think Wiggins and Dahl are kind of neck and neck. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dahl start week 1. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I at least week 1, you're looking at Taylor Decker. Then you've got, you're probably going to have Dahl or Wiggins, and then Graham as your center, and then Wagner, and then the other guy, Wiggins or Dahl, whoever, on the other side, especially if Ragnow is out week 1, right? If obviously Ragnow's in, you slide Glasgow over, and then it's Dahl or Wiggins. But I think Kenny Wiggins showed his versatility at the tackle position, so I think you're able now to move Tyrell Crosby to guard, because we've all seen clearly he can't play tackle at this level. He is god-awful. So... And I think Wiggins was good enough where if he has to play tackle, I think you could. Mm-hmm. And with Ibushi, who kind of plays the interior, and then this Bo guy is like your developmental guy that if worst case scenario, I guess we're putting him out there, I would not be surprised, Mike, I don't know if you agree with me, this would be a spot where if there's a waiver claim made by the Lions, that this would be a position that they'd go after in the waiver claims.
If they could get
somebody.
Yeah, if you can get one guy, you're trying to get an offensive lineman. This entire team, for me, I agree with that.
Because I think we saw week 4 that the backup offensive lineman, they had a rough go, handling some of those blitz packages and stuff, so it's like, obviously the quarterbacks, obviously you didn't have the best quarterback play out there either. Yeah. But, with that being said, that was a rough go, a little bit. You know what I mean?
So, Kyle, if you had to call your shot, out of 32, where do you think this offense is going to be about?
Out of 32, I'm saying, because of your 2 tight ends that you have, assuming Hawkinson is as good as we think he is, I would say 15 or upper 15, 10, in between 10 and 15.
10 15. Yeah, so like a top echelon offense.
Yeah.
So you don't think it's gonna be top 5?
No, I don't think it'll be
top 5.
Like top 10. Like you got like Kansas City and all those teams who are about to be a top 5. Right. You think you're gonna be like a upper tier offense?
Yeah,
better than most.
Yeah, I would say that. That's not bad. I think if they can land somewhere in that upper, I think if they can land between 12 and 8. That's where I think they need to be. Okay. Like I think because I just overall offense, right? If their running game is 15th in the league, I'll be thrilled.
Yeah.
Like straight up thrilled. It's never been that high in a long time. Mm-hmm. So if that's where your run game's at, I can only imagine your pass game's going to be higher than that. So I just think that if that needs to kind of be the sweet spot where I think upper, lower, single digits would probably be the ceiling. They're not going to be so explosive, but they're going to be putting up 35 points a game. No. It's just not the Bevel offense. But I think that if you get a more refined Matthew Stafford back this year, tight end position that's been revamped, you have your 2 mainstays on the outside. Your run game is theoretically going to be better because you have these 2 tight ends out here. And I think your play calling, and we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago with having the 2 tight ends set now, okay, now what are you going to do? Before you had 2 tight ends out there, you knew, all right, well, we're going to power run this son of a, and it's just going to be a disaster. But now, I think play action is going to be a huge mainstay of this offense going forward. So, all right, let's go. What do we got next?
We're going to move over to the defensive side of the ball.
Defense.
And we're going to go hit the defensive line.
Probably the strength of the team, if we're being honest.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Making the cut on the defensive line, we have Trey Flowers,
Shocker.
Damon Harrison,
Shocker.
Mike Daniels,
Shocker.
Sean Robinson,
Shocker.
Deshaun Hand,
Shocker.
Romeo Akwara,
Shocker.
Kevin Strong,
Not a shocker.
and Austin Bryant is listed here as the D.
Yeah, he's a D-line, but he's a linebacker.
Yeah, he's
too
in that
at the same
Jadeveon Clowney kind of
right. Plays both.
hybrid spot.
Right.
there.
Makes sense.
And guys who didn't really make the cut, Eric Lee, P.J. Johnson, our 6th-round pick.
Yep.
John Atkins.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Right.
make it.
Yeah. I think Eric Lee's the only one I think that was a little surprising. I thought he had a really nice preseason week 4 as to kind of be a rotational, but they went lean and mean with the D-line. But you look at that. I mean, Hand, Harrison, Aishan, Mike Daniels, Flowers, Akwara. Those are all starters.
Yeah.
All rotational starters who are going to play major time, major snaps for this team. Kyle, with the addition of Mike Daniels now, right? Who do you think is your starting 4 for this team? Like first down, walk out there. Who's your 4 that you got out there? Do you have Akwara? Do you have Hand if he's healthy? Do you have Mike Daniels at the end? There's a lot of position versatility. You know what I mean? So who is your 4 that you would put out there to go, okay, this is who I'm starting off with? Like
So
Kyler Murray, you're looking right in the face of these 4 guys.
My top 4.
Yeah.
I probably have Deshaun Hand,
Okay.
Sean Robinson.
I'm just agreeing. I'm just listening to you.
Do you need the list?
Yeah.
No, you did say Mike Daniels.
Yeah.
And then Trey Flowers. Yeah.
Okay, so you got Snacks off, Snap 1 of the week.
Of course, get another 6.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy. Right. I would agree with you almost 100%, except I'm taking A-Shot and putting Snacks in.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only way I'm doing it. If they're going with a 4-3 defense, just to start off the game. But I mean, because you look at this, you know, Deshaun Hand, he can play both, you know, defensive tackle and DN. Snacks, he's, you know, 3 technique all the way through. Ashawn is the 3, but Mike Daniels can play inside or outside. Flowers can play inside or outside.
Yeah.
Akwara can play inside or outside. Austin Bryant plays a little bit of both, depending. He might be going on IR, so we don't know that situation just yet, but lots of position flexibility. You're going to be throwing a lot of stuff at a lot of people.
I would be shocked seeing a lot of 4-3 early.
Yeah.
Especially because Jared Davis isn't there, so your linebacking depth isn't super there, so you want them to get
and it's going to help, I think, if you have your 4 bet, because Mike Daniels can rush the passer pretty well, too. Snacks can't. That's not his game.
Yeah.
He's a run-stuffing guy. But if you've got Snacks clogging up the A-gap on one side, and then you've got Mike Daniels and or Trey Flowers on one side of the field, that's deadly. Like that's a hell of a combination to throw at somebody with a twist or something. Good Lord, get it out of there. All right, let's go linebackers.
Yep, so linebackers, they kept 6 linebackers. So we have Jared Davis, Devin Kennard, Christian Jones, Jalai Tavai, Jalen Reese-Maybin, and Miles Killebrew all made the cut.
Yep.
Guys who missed the cut, Steve Longa, Garrett Dooley, Anthony Pittman, Malik Carney.
Yeah, so everybody we thought was going to get cut
basically.
for the most part. Any shockers for you guys on that list at all?
I would say Miles Killebrew
Yeah.
is the only one, if anything, would be a shock to me.
Yeah.
I kind of thought Steve Longa might make it.
Good special teamer, right?
Yeah,
For sure.
But besides that, I think everything else is pretty expected.
Yeah.
At least the linebacking crew.
No, I think so too. I think Tavai is going to fit the Jared Davis spot until Jared Davis is back, and I think Jalen Reese-Maybin played himself into a starting position this preseason.
That's why,
I really think he did.
I would be nervous if they went 3-4, but if you lose another linebacker, you're really nervous now.
Yeah. Well,
so
then you got to put Killebrew out there, and then Christian Jones. It's just going to be a back.
So I think a good 4-3 at least until Jared Davis comes back would be awesome to see because you have the depth in the linemen, and the linebackers you'll have as much depth without Jared Davis, but you can still put Tavai, Devin Kennard, and Jalen Reese-Maybin out there, and you got a solid.
I think Kennard too, as such the pass rushing jack type linebacker that he plays in this scheme. Him combined with the guys you have on the D line with the Flowers and some other people, I think you're going to see what we wanted to see last year with Ziggy, right? Where it's like, okay, we've got a guy on the outside who's playing linebacker who can either drop back into coverage or come and rush the passer effectively, along with stopping the run up the middle with Snacks. But then you also got a premier pass rusher on the other side with Flowers. I know people say Flowers' sack numbers aren't there, but it's not always about the sack numbers. It's about the pressure. It's about the continuous making the quarterback uncomfortable, forcing him into a throw, or not allowing a receiver to get open. That's a lot of times, which is going to help, I think, not only our linebackers in coverage, but our cornerbacks as well, which I think is probably one of the weaker spots on the team. So let's go with who made the spot on corner.
Okay, so you're gonna go corners?
Yeah, let's go
because I have
corners.
secondary in general. I'll pick up the corners. Here.
Okay, I got a list too if you need it.
So making just corners in general, we got Darius Slay,
Shocker.
Rashid Melvin, and Justin Coleman.
Those are starters. Right.
You have Amani Oruwariye.
Yep.
Your fifth round pick.
Penn State.
Fifth round pick. Jamal Agnew.
Yep.
Mike Ford.
Yep.
And D Virgin.
Yeah. The only one I think that's shocking to me, and Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, is D Virgin. I think that's how to pronounce his last name. He's the only one that I think even comes close to being like, okay, that's a bit of a shock. I think that Mike Ford, I think, kind of played his way in because his familiarity with the scheme. I think he was starting. But I'm a little surprised that they didn't keep Tabor over D just a little bit, just because I'm like, man, he's going to be at the back of the lineup anyway. Mm-hmm. Maybe keep him just to see what you can do.
Yeah. They must have something they really liked in D Virgin.
I think it's more special teams. I think they were kind of done with the Tabor experiment.
Probably.
And what's funny is we were talking about this yesterday, where like the Packers cut Josh Jones, their 2017 second round pick. The Vikings tried to trade and then cut Laquan Treadwell, their first round pick from a couple years ago. So I know a lot of people want to go, well, see, it's another missed second round pick, but a lot of teams, and those are just teams in the NFC North in specific, that are cutting second, first round guys only after a couple seasons because it clearly has not panned out the way we wanted to, right? Any shockers for you, Kyle, on the cornerback position besides D?
I have a question. Who was the guy that they drafted out of
Penn State?
No, not Penn State. I can't think of the name. No, it's not. I'll think of it.
We're gonna be talking about Michigan. He goes, it's gonna hit him like
I'm trying to think of the college. It's the gray and red one. No, the
gray,
brown and red one.
Do you need to look at the list?
I won't know by the name. I'll just think of it. I'll think of it.
Okay, cool.
That they drafted?
Yeah,
just recently.
He was like a safety.
Killebrew?
Oh, Will Harris.
Will Harris.
Yeah,
he's a safety though.
Yeah,
Boston College.
Yes.
Yeah, he made the team. He's a safety.
Yeah, he's safety. I went to corners.
I just didn't know if that was one of them.
No. We're gonna go safeties next. So go ahead and hit safeties.
Yeah, so safeties here we have Quandre Diggs and Tracy Walker, your presumed starters.
Yep.
And then you have Will Harris, Tavon Wilson, and C.J. Moore making it.
And I think the guy that out of that list that sticks out to me is C.J. Moore because he played excellent on special teams. Really earned his spot there, which made Charles Washington more expendable. Yep. I know people are listening to this and be like, oh my god, it's the bottom of the roster, who cares? But these are the guys that, like, on big swing plays, as far as field position, they need to play an important role. That's how they made the team, is on special teams. I think another guy, too, that I think people are going to be happy with is Will Harris. In the preseason, he always seemed to find a way to be around the football.
Yes.
You know what I mean? With the scoop and score, I think he had another fumble recovery on a kick return. Like, those kinds of things where it's like, I don't know why, but he's just a magnet to the football where he just automatically, he's there, he's creating havoc, he's causing turnovers, he's recovering the football. Those are the kind of things that, if you're a rotational guy, I think are big. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially because I think he's going to play a big spot on special teams.
So
as
you're
well.
a big Will Harris fan?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm checking in.
He's so big he didn't even know his name. He's got the jersey in the mail.
He's got the jersey coming.
He's got the jersey in the mail coming up there. Although if anybody ordered a Tracy Walker jersey, he just changed his number, so he's not going to be 47 anymore. I think he's going to be 21.
Oh,
I think he's what he changed it
to.
Yeah, 21 or 23. I don't remember. I think it might be 23, but no, it's not 23. That's Slay. I think it's going to be 21 or something like that. So I think he's changing his number. So which is interesting, I guess, for us Jersey fanatics. And then special teams. Any shockers?
We have Matt Prater, Sam Martin, and Don Mulback.
Yeah. So now here's the only thing that I will say about this. So Sam Martin got a restructure of his contract a couple days ago. Basically, they made the 2020 season a team option. So, and he took a pay cut. So basically, it's more of the writing on the wall that if Sam Martin doesn't start punting like 2016 Sam Martin, I think he's going to be gone next year. So that's kind of just an interesting kind of tidbit, I think, to kind of keep an eye on. Because as we know, teams like Minnesota and Chicago are having major problems with their kicking game. I mean, Minnesota just traded a 5th-round pick for a kicker/punter that they cut. We traded a 5th-round pick last year for snacks.
Yeah.
So, let's evaluate, that kind of value for a second there. Yeah. So, it's nice to have a Matt Prater and, a good punter, clearly. Yes. I think, the Bears would have won that playoff game if they had, a good kicker. So,
So, going back to this defense, where do you rank the defense in the league out of 32? Kyle?
In the league, the defense, I would probably... See, I don't want to, because I know they're supposed to be a better defense.
By the end of this episode, Kyle is going to eat his entire structure. He's just going to eat the
just
entire
watch.
one.
I'm a chewer.
It's going to be slow. It's going to be slowly but surely just going to slowly start fading away. Up
just so everyone knows he's a chewer. Also.
All right, chewer biter. But I'd say right up there. I'd say
right up there.
I'd say 15.
This is a Jared Cook for agency all over again. I got one guy they're going to go after. Jared Cook. Say it with me. Jared Cook.
Yeah.
No.
And you didn't even... Okay.
If they're 15, I think there's a problem. Like, low-key. I really do. Because if they're middle of the road, that means they're going to be... And you're saying that they're going to be middle of the road offensively. That doesn't lend credence to a very good season, in my opinion. That reckons me saying, we're going to go 7-9. Like, that can't happen this year. It straight up can't.
Do you think they have a better run or pass defense?
I'd say better run defense.
I would hope so. Good lord. If they don't have a good run defense, the run defense has to be top 10. It has to be like top 8, in my opinion. Like straight up. Like you have a lot invested in this defensive line. Tavai and Davis are two of the best coming out of college that play the run so well that you're sacrificing some pass coverage in order to limit a team to make them one-dimensional. So you better be good at stopping the run because if you're not, we're going to have major problems. Thoughts, guys, overall. Mike, I'll start with you on this roster. Any mistakes you think they made going in? Like, obviously you can't tell, they haven't played a game yet, but as far as just as the breakdown goes, the amount of offensive linemen, D-linemen, that kind of thing, do you think they went heavy in one spot, maybe not enough in another? Anything that kind of sticks out to you where you go, maybe they need to
the only thing I just say, I don't think they really needed 3 quarterbacks. I think they could have went with the 2 and add another receiver or another linebacker maybe even because I think they're a little low on those spots, especially with the injuries that have come up already. But besides that, I think they did a pretty good job everywhere. They kind of replaced everyone like a Theo Riddick or any of those guys that like you're not really cutting it, so we got another 6-run guy who can do it for you. Right. So I think they did a pretty good job overall, and it's probably the best team that they could have got out of this year. Yeah.
Kyle, any like observations just coming off the roster, off the top, just looking at it on paper, where do you see this?
See this team going? Where
do you see this team? Like, do you like the roster build up? What's their ceiling? Let me guess, 7-9, 8-8, 15th in the league.
I had what he had. Wait,
yeah.
I'm gonna go back.
Go ahead.
I think their ceiling would be I'd say a ceiling would be like wild card playoff.
Yeah, I think that they have the Packers as in the first place.
This is Kyle's prediction.
Oh, this is from when you guys when we did every single one. Did you? Yeah. So he's got the Bears going. Okay, that's funny. Yeah. No, honestly, I think looking at this roster top to bottom, right? I think you see some emphasis put on you put some emphasis on the offensive line. Kept 9 linemen. You put some emphasis on having a lot of linebackers, right? I think you have 7, not including Austin Bryant. So you've got a lot of rotational guys there. Your cornerbacks, there's a really steep drop-off in your cornerback spot, which means that you have to put emphasis on the defensive line and the linebacker play. I think those 2 things are going to be the most important with that, along with, I think, Kerryon Johnson's health. Yeah. If you don't have a solid run game to help Stafford out here at this point in kind of his career, I think you got to give him something. You can't be one-dimensional anymore, and with the emphasis that they're going to putting on the run game, it's got to be there, and he's got to stay healthy. All right, guys, that's going to be it for part 1 of episode 40. That's the Lions roster breakdown. After the break, we're going to talk NXT and AEW and Michigan State football after the break. Stick around. Hey guys, it's the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Mendeca, just reminding you once again that we have a brand new website, I'mAlwaysRightPC.com, to go along with that brand new logo and that brand new studio you know and love. And if you haven't told your friends about the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast, what are you doing? Get on the horn, tell everybody you know, and tell them to subscribe. All right, and welcome back to part 2 of this week's episode 40 of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. Just a reminder once again, we have a new website, I'mAlwaysRightPC.com, if you don't know. Let's go right into it. Kyle asked me, All right, we got to go over Michigan football first before we talk any wrestling because he's got a lot on his chest. So for everybody who says that this guy doesn't talk enough, well, you're about to get your wish, unfortunately, for the rest of us. Let's talk about it.
It's going to be no Jared Cook.
Yeah, it's going to be no Jared Cook action.
I figured out.
No over-unders. No over-unders. Graduated. No over-unders. No nothing. We're just going to talk about that. I guess let's just start with the top. We'll start with the good, right? Michigan won. They beat Middle Tennessee State. I feel like that should have been obvious. But all right, Kyle, you were there. You were at the 45-yard line.
10 rows back.
10 rows back. Looking at it, talking to parents of players and potential recruits, doing the Lord's work, as we like to say here on the show.
Of course.
Let's just jump right into it here. Mike's already dying. All right, just go for it. What was the performance? Because I have some takes. Me and Mike watched together. Obviously, we were looking for you on TV. We found you several times. You were the guy in the white hat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you saw anybody in a white hat,
it was Kyle. Right. All right, go ahead, man. What's on your mind? Give me your overall thoughts on this game because there's a lot of people saying a lot of things, and I think we need to be the ones that bring it back to reality.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who think that this was okay. It wasn't okay. I'll give it overall what I thought overall after I'm done with my analysis.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start from the offense, the quarterbacks, and quarterback playing Shea Patterson. Personally, I thought didn't do so well. Everyone else, they're like, 3 touchdowns. He had 6 yards in the second half. I know he was hurt, but dude, honestly, in my opinion, Dylan McCaffrey is way more talented, just minus the experience. So it's understandable that Shea is going to play more. I understand big moments he could probably show up.
Right.
But quarterback play...
Can I chime in here for a second? Real quick, because you're on this topic, and this is the one thing I wanted to talk about when we were talking about Michigan.
Yeah.
Is I could not agree with you anymore on that statement. And and I don't know if you guys agree with me on this when I say I would rather lose a game with Dylan McCaffrey as my quarterback thinking he's got potential to get better than lose the same game to let's just say Ohio State. Let's because that's the big one, right? I'd rather lose to Ohio State with McCaffrey at quarterback thinking there's a chance that he's going to get better than lose close to Ohio State with Shea Patterson knowing I know what I'm getting out of Shea Patterson. Do you guys agree with that? I'd rather, if I'm going to lose this game, I'd rather have a hope for next year to think this guy can get better. I know what Shea Patterson is, and it's not good.
Okay, my only thing that makes me nervous about Dylan McCaffrey is you haven't seen him play full game.
Right, and that's why I want to pull the plug now.
Well, here's the thing, though, is I think because Shea's a fifth-year senior also, people just go, this is how you beat him. It's so easy. This is what he's bad at, and this is... Right. You'll have that on Dylan McCaffrey. Obviously, he comes in the second half of the Notre Dame game when you're losing by 21. Yeah. He's going to look really good. He comes in halfway through the Mid-Tennessee game when you're up 19. Right. He looks really good. I want to see him in the Wisconsin game, in a full game.
I'm with you.
And that's
I
because
love that.
This is the Jimmy Garoppolo effect for me, where people go, oh my God, he's amazing. I'm like, but I haven't seen it really. Right. I've seen it in spurts of halves and quarters. I haven't seen an entire year. Right, and I'm with you.
And I am in total agreement with you. That's why I want it done now, though. That's what I don't want Patterson starting anymore. I wanted McCaffrey since last year. After that debacle of season where you had a stacked defense and you still couldn't get it done, I'm done. I want to start. I'd rather go young and dumb and figure it out rather than experienced and just okay. You know what I mean? That's my only thing. I'm with you, Mike. I'm totally agree with you that there's rose-colored glasses when it comes to McCaffrey just because we haven't seen it, right? Yeah. We haven't seen the mistakes that he has made yet, right? But with that being said, I'm more willing to live with those mistakes than I am with Patterson because he's a fifth-year senior. Turning the ball over, not making the correct read. We could not make a pass. It was either a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown, and the only reason why that's completed is because the guys are wide-ass open because you have better athletes than Middle Tennessee State.
But can't you just look at that and go, that's a good game plan because at least they can acknowledge that. My point being though is that that's not going to happen against good teams. They're not going to be open like that against. But my concern is that I don't think Patterson can make the throws to get there. Now I don't know if McCaffrey can, but I know for a fact that Patterson can. That's my point. Go ahead, keep going.
And I'm sure the coaching staff knows
flashes,
it. But I'm sure there's when Jim Harbaugh's we probably are gonna need him next year. We need experience. But on the other hand, he's like, I'll still have a job next year regardless of what happens. But I'm gonna lose a lot of support if I can't get it done this year.
Yeah.
And he's like... And
not from Michigan people who haven't made any decision, but from the fan base.
yeah, like he's going to lose a lot of support from ESPN, the broadcasters, fans, all over. Like, he'll still have a job, but he's going to lose a lot. And that's when you start losing recruits. That's when you start losing big time. That's when you actually start losing your job years to come. But anyway, beside the fact, at least you have a Shea Patterson, Dylan McCaffrey, Joe Milton debacle that you can deal with. But, so, going on to the receivers, they were obviously way more skilled, bigger, stronger than Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't think they showed like their like ceiling, but I think that was kind of the intention.
Yeah.
You don't really need to be showing.
I will say this for the offense as a whole too. It's a new offense, right? So I do think there is going to be an adjustment period. That's why these next week against Army, as well as the bye before they play Wisconsin, those are going to be big weeks to really fine tune some of this stuff. And so I'm willing to give Shea a little bit because I thought the offensive line also played pretty poorly. I would say. But like I said, I need to see drastic improvement from the offensive side.
I would be more nervous if he played kind of like this in like a Wisconsin game.
Yeah.
Because this game in Army is preseason.
Right, for sure.
Then
you have to buy, and then all right, let's go.
So like if you go into Wisconsin and he fumbles 3 times and stuff, I'll pull the plug then. Yeah. But I'm not pulling the plug on Mid Tennessee State because you're just kinking everything out.
I was pulling the plug through Notre Dame last year, so
everyone was so happy.
I was so angry. But anyway, continue. Go ahead.
But yeah, so like you said, with the offensive line, they didn't play that well. They do have 2 starters that are hurt; they're not playing. So you're kind of mixing. You're trying to figure out what's going to work.
And like to Mike's point, you've got 2 weeks to do it.
So that's just fine
preseason to do it for sure.
Hopefully, you can figure that out. And with the running backs, I think Zach Charbonnet is really a great running back. He showed of what he could be. I like Turner as well. True Wilson, we thought was going to be a starter. Didn't really play that much.
Yeah. You may have mentioned that he may or may not be banged up a little bit.
He might be banged up a little bit, so that's probably why I didn't play that much. But I really like Zach Charbonnet. I think with him in the few years to come, he can be really great. And
they've always had good running backs since Harbaugh's got here. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it doesn't translate to the NFL, but the running back position's always been pretty good, I would say. You know, Chris Evans, whether it was Smith, anybody like that. Like
Crown Higdon.
You know, you had some good running backs there, you know. And I think that with the incorporation now of the whole spread type of thing, I think they're going to be more effective. So I'm in total agreement with you. What about the defense?
So with the defense, with the D-line, that's probably where you're the thinnest and most questions. Mm-hmm. There is a package that Aiden Hutchinson actually talked about after the game, where they have a package with all D-ends on the front four. Yeah. I think your D-ends are your best players in my opinion. You got Josh Uche, Kwity Paye, Aiden Hutchinson, and Mike Dana. Right. I think those are your 4 best defensive lines. Obviously, they're not going to have the size as a Michael Dwumfour, but you do have D-ends that are hurt.
Everybody just went, who the hell are these guys? And half the people listening who do know are like, where's Kyle been this
I know. Like,
he's going in, dropping names and everything.
Hey,
keep going.
I get to talk about Michigan. It's all good. But yeah, so I think that will be a good package for when you have like your D-line hurt. Carlo Kempa, who's a senior, 5th-year senior defensive tackle. I think he's a really good defensive tackle, but he's kind of undersized. He did play on the DN for a little bit, so that's where the all DN line comes in. And then you have your linebackers. Obviously, losing Devin Bush, you lose some speed.
That's an understatement of the century. Good lord. But starting in Pittsburgh, for goodness sakes.
You do have Josh Rosh, who's very fast. He's slightly undersized, but very fast.
It's not a real name.
Josh Rosh.
It's just funny that he rhymes, but it's fine.
But yeah, and then Glass, you can't say his name correct. Glasgow, I think he played fantastic yesterday. He was in the backfield a lot. Had 2 sacks, I believe.
Talk to me about the missed tackles, because I was watching, and that was the one impression after the first touchdown the Middle Tennessee scores, right? I thought they settled down, but I did notice an abundance of missed tackles yesterday. Did you kind of get the same feeling watching live?
Yeah, there was a lot of plays where they started in the backfield and you could have got a tackle for loss, but then they end up 5-10 yards first downs. I think that's just kind of getting back to it. There's freshmen who are playing against it. There's some mistakes made by like more experienced players like Lavert Hill, which we'll get into.
We'll talk to him in a second.
But I think that's just kind of a getting back into it. I think after next week, and especially the bye going into Wisconsin, I feel like that'll be figured out, especially with the down.
All right, go over the corners, and then I want to and the secondary, and then I want to ask you guys about Wisconsin in a second. So go ahead.
All right, so corners,
we'll talk Michigan State real quick.
Secondary, you have Ambry Thomas and Vincent Gray.
Right.
Both don't have as much experience as the others.
Right.
But they both played fantastic. Ambry Thomas was supposed to be out 3 to 4 weeks because he had some illness, but he's suited game 1.
He's like, I don't believe it.
Some illness. Yes. well, looking at his play, it didn't look like it, but that's fine. He got an interception. He looked fantastic. Vincent Gray, who I was doubting, like just looking at him pre-game, he didn't look that big. He may be fast, but he didn't look that tall, didn't look that big. Mm-hmm. But he played fantastic, especially in the first half. Had a great stop at the goal line.
Yep.
And with the safeties, you have Lavert Hill, you have Marcellus, and then you have who didn't play at all except for kickoff, but Daxton Hill, your 5-star freshman. Metellus, he's experienced. He's a captain, I think. He's fine. Lavert Hill, God.
So tell him why you're mad.
You drop a punt, and then you drop an easy pick 6.
Yeah.
Like
I couldn't have thrown like that was like me playing quarterback and throwing it right to you, and you just go, I don't know what to do. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah,
that's what he did.
Exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And I get it, it's the beginning of the season, but you're also been starting for multiple years. You should know how to catch a football. I could have caught that
Why plays corner
with my hands
closed,
eyes closed. but hopefully all this stuff will be figured out. Overall, the defense, right now it's not looking like a top 5 down-round defense.
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that is. Just here's my thought on this, right? Every year since Don Brown's gotten here, it's like we go into like Ohio State or whatever, and they just like, man, this top 5 defense, and then we just get shredded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe if the expectation isn't we're top 5 defense and they just play normal and just we're okay. Like not like ranking wise, but like I'm okay with them not being a top 5 defense. If that means we can stop crossing routes.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Maybe that's just something where this is. They lost a lot of people last year. I don't think people understand how many people they really lost. Like key positions. Mm-hmm. You know, as much crap as I give Rashawn Gary, he was still a key cog in the defense. Devin Bush was a key cog. Chase Winovich is a key player that is going to probably win a Super Bowl this year. So you know what I mean? So I mean. Let me ask you guys this, then we'll go into Michigan State real quick, Mike, because you watched Michigan State. Wisconsin, is that the make or break game for you guys? Like, do you need to see performance to be way above what we saw Saturday, or is there still time for you to be like, because everyone's expecting this team to go to the Final Four, right? Like that's a lot of people's predictions. With that being said, is Wisconsin a game where you go, all right, this is how we're going to know what kind of team this is, and if they don't beat Wisconsin, now I'm not saying by 30 points, but if they're not clearly the better team out there, are you going to be concerned going forward in the rest of the Big Ten play, going against Michigan State and Notre Dame and stuff like that? Not Big Ten play, but, you know.
I won't. I think a more important game is a swing of Iowa and Notre Dame that they play.
Okay.
Because I think Wisconsin, as long as you beat Wisconsin, I think you'll be fine. Okay. Because that's the first real competition game.
Right. No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So like these first 2 games are like preseason games, you can call them, because they're predicted to win by 30 points and
Absolutely.
they should be pretty easy.
Right.
Wisconsin's your first like, we're going to punch you in the mouth game and see how you can perform. Mm-hmm. I think once you hit like Iowa, Penn State, Notre Dame, that middle stretch of your season, that's when you're like, you should be at your tip-top shape.
Right.
And if you're not beating those teams convincingly or whatever, then you're probably not a Final Four team. Like the middle of the season is when you should be at your, and then even Michigan State, the third to last week of the season, it should be like, yep, now we're beating you by 21 points. Like we're definitively the better team.
Kyle, do you agree with that sentiment a little bit? Or are you in, like, a lot of people's minds, I think, are looking at Wisconsin as like that Shea Patterson's kind of like last straw for me. You know, like if he does not play well, we need to just get McCaffrey in there and we just need to roll with it and take the punches as they come.
I think that game, not even for a fan standpoint, but for the actual team, I think that's going to show absolutely everything. That's going to expose is that a good team or not? Right. Because like you said, with the breaking tackles and with the missed tackles, like you can't tackle Tennessee players. You want to try to tackle a Heisman candidate running back,
right? When
your D line is who knows how good right now. That's going to prove a lot. And I know Wisconsin's not going to have the best of defenses, and you're supposed to have this up-tempo offense, but that's going to be when you're going to have to dominate. You're going to have to put down the line. We're better, we're bigger, we're stronger, and that's when they're going to have to.
So if they only win by like 1 score, are you nervous?
No.
No. So you're not nervous. That's what I'm saying, though. I'm not going to say, oh, you only win by 1 score. I'm not, like, nervous. Yeah. If you only beat, like, Notre Dame and, like, Penn State and these teams, and you win by 3 points, then I'm like, but are you, like, really that much better? Like, are you a Final Four?
Or is this just luck swinging our way this time?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not... Now, if you lose, now I'm like, all right, pull the plug. Like, the season's kind of over. But, like, Wisconsin, like, I don't need them to win by 48 points. No, like, I'm like 7 to 10 points. I'm like, okay, we're good. Like, I'm not worried yet. Right. So that's my team.
Yeah, obviously that's the gameplay as well. Let's talk about Michigan State here for a second before we go to the squared circle. Mike, you watched the Michigan State game. I saw highlights. They win 28-7 over Tulsa in a snooze fest. Just give me your thoughts on how the Spartans looked and any maybe preconceived notions that Spartans fans like to throw out there, maybe about a rushing stat or two.
Well, I will say...
There it goes. It hit you.
Well, I will say their offense looked very bad. And when I say that, I want to say that they improved. They did improve, at least in this game from last year. Their defense is, I'll give you this, legit. Yeah. Michigan's going to have a lot of trouble against that defense. Yeah. That defense flies and it's everywhere. Right. Offensively, so you had a series in the middle of the game where it was Tulsa had the ball 3rd and 1. The ball goes over his head, Peyton Manning style, and the guy runs back 20 yards to go get the ball, and then they punt, and then they like block the punt. So now you have the ball at like your opponent's 10-yard line, and you get stuffed on 4th and 1. Right. And then the ball goes over Tulsa's head again on the next play, and it's a safety. Yeah. You get the ball at the 50-yard line, and you get stuffed out again. Right. And then the ball is at Tulsa's own 5-yard line, 3rd consecutive play on a 3rd drive, and then the ball goes over his head again, and now you get a defensive touchdown. Right. Like, you're playing a team that the ball went over the guy's head 3 straight times. The fundamental play, the action to start a football play. Yeah, they're not good enough to start. Like, at least Mid-Tennessee was, like, able to, like, run around and, like, make plays. Tulsa literally couldn't even get a snap for 3 straight drives. And Michigan...
That's what kind of got me going. Like, they're like, I know Michigan State has really great offense, but they're like, defensive... Oh yeah, defense. I know. Trust me. Yeah. But when they say they have this great defense and they're blocking punts and they're getting touchdowns and safeties, I'm like, the safety and the touchdown was because Tulsa shot it.
Yeah, because the center was scared shitless because this D-line was killing him every single play. Right. But, like, I'm just looking at that and going, at least, like, Mid-Tennessee can complete passes. This team couldn't even take a snap. Right. And you only win 28-7. It's not like you have the ball, your average starting field position was at midfield for State. Right. Tulsa's was at their own 5-yard line was their average start. Yeah. So, like, if you're only winning 28-7 and that's what you're looking at, now you're going to play teams like Ohio State, Michigan, where if you give them the ball at midfield at all, they're scoring on you. Yeah. So you have to make sure
Michigan State's going to always hang around because the defense, I think, is going to be really good for them.
They play Michigan, the score's going to be like 17-14 at most. Right. Like, like you're not getting any shootouts. And even Ohio State, I think they're not scoring over 30 points.
Yeah. Right. They always play with Ohio State.
They always do. They always come up ready to play. Right, absolutely.
So I think if you're a State fan, you go, defensively, I love everything I saw, but offensively, if you don't have anything better on offense to give, I'm super nervous about your chances.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting take. All right. That's enough on football this week. I'm sure we'll revisit as we go. And if Patterson has a pedestrian game, to say the least, then I'm going to come on the show and lose a gasket against Army. But anyway, let's talk Mike now. Let's talk... Let's talk wrestling, but let's talk AEW's All Out Show. We have a brand new, first ever AEW World Champion. Spoiler alert!
It's not Cody Rhodes, Kyle.
It's not Cody. I know it's your boy. It's not Kenny Omega. It's not Jon Moxley. It's not one of the Young Bucks for some weird reason. It's not even Hangman Adam Page. It's Chris Jericho, which I think we both can agree was the right call. Absolutely. Established guy winning your championship. I think that's the right move with the bad guy, too, which I think helps with the chase and everything going into TNT in a couple months. And then on the Takeover side, we have new tag champs for NXT UK Tag Champs. We've got a new women's champion there. We had a hell of a match between Walter and Tyler Bate, where Walter retains by the skin of his teeth. Compare both shows you watched kind of back-to-back. Thoughts, who had the better show, and what was the best match for you? I watched both, so I can maybe give you a little more, but I know you watched the main event for Takeover for Cardiff, but go ahead.
Unfortunately, I can't say it's even comparable, because All Out, I think, was the best show of the year so far.
Really?
I think it beats out Wrestle Kingdom.
Really?
with a G1 Supercard. I think it easily blows that out of the water. Yeah. I think from start to finish, I think every single match on All Out for the first time this year, you were like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think Wrestle Kingdom 13, you can make the argument that those 9 matches, comparatively to All Out's not 8 matches on their actual card, probably are the closest saying, wow, that was like really, really, really good every single match. But you have to look at All Out going, you have one major title match at the very end, your main event title match for the first champion. Everything else is just a match, really. Right. Like you have, first round bye implications, women's championship. There's a lot of setup stuff. You have, Cody and all that stuff going on, but you don't have any titles online. Wrestle Kingdom had 9 straight title matches.
Right.
And so that gives that.
There's a little bit more,
you have a little bit more of a boost there.
For sure.
But I think All Out, for what it was, gave you probably at least 6 of the best matches of the year. So
I would disagree with you slightly. I think a couple matches that I were just like, that was okay. Like I thought the SCU match was just okay. It was an SCU match. I thought the women's match I thought was just okay. I thought it wasn't anything that like blew me out of the water necessarily. Like I would have rather watched Charlotte and like Becky Lynch fight than those two.
I would. Yeah,
but you know what I mean. Like I'm just comparing the two. Right?
But I would also say it's hard because you're going no build on that women's.
Oh yeah,
match.
No, for sure.
So
for sure. Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, just going straight talent for talent. Like you know what I mean. Like I thought it was good, not great. But the rest of the card, though, I will give you was phenomenal from top to bottom. I even thought some of the stuff that they did in the ladder match for the AAA tag titles. The titles didn't mean anything in anybody's mind. But I thought they were creative enough where I think they got you into it. Where I think you almost sometimes forgot it was a ladder match at certain points. You know what I mean? Like you kind of felt like, okay, this is just some big thing. And at the end, oh, by the way, they won the titles kind of thing, And I thought the match that really stole the show, though, was that triple threat hardcore match. I think Joey Janela and Havoc and Darby Allin, I think, made each other. Stole the show is not, I guess, the best word, but I think did the most for everybody involved. I think Joey Janela, the past 2 shows he's been on, has killed it. Yeah. Absolutely killed it. The thing with Moxley, and now I think he's bringing something so alternative to even what AEW is trying to do. If you're not a fan, by the time you start watching TNT, I bet he's one of the most over baby faces in the entire company.
Yes, I would agree
with that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, what match for you kind of made you think like that was the match of the night? Was it the? Was
it was a ladder match.
Was it for you? Still?
I think I was so involved in that ladder match.
Yeah.
I said they're gonna do a Canadian shirt off the top of a ladder, and then when they went through the table, also I went best spot of the year by far.
Absolutely.
And that just made the match right there.
Kyle, I got a question for you, based off of because we talk about Slot, and obviously you're not the biggest wrestling fan ever, but hearing us talk about it and like we do on the show, does this make you want to watch this anymore? Does this make you like, because this is a new show where basically you're starting from zero? You would be like every other fan watching on TNT going, okay, I don't really know who these guys are. Does it make you we're hearing the success and hearing us gush about it all the time, does that make you want to tune in at least the first couple weeks to be like, all right, you know what, fine, let's sit, let me watch it, let me see what's going on? Or are you still just kind of like, yeah, it's okay?
I think a lot of it, or getting people to watch it who like normally don't watch wrestling or don't watch or just normally are into sports. Like seeing it, like for me, I'll see it on like Sports Center, or I'll see it like on the ESPN like Instagram page.
Right. Yeah.
Or like especially if like I hear you guys talking about it, obviously. So I think like promoting it really well is probably what's gonna get the most people to watch it.
Yeah.
But outside
of the show, of course.
Yeah, but like, for the average fan, if like they don't like see that essentially, and it doesn't interest them, then I don't see how like it really gets.
So because you'd be starting, and the reason why I ask is because a lot of these people we know, but especially here in America, a lot of these guys you don't know. You know what I mean? So it's something that where you can kind of say, all right, I don't really know who these guys are. I was wrestling. A lot of people, are older than us, 30s, 40s go, okay, I used to be a wrestling fan when I was 10. You know what I mean? When Hulk Hogan was the thing, and the WCW and all that good stuff. Now it's a new brand, new people. I think that there's a small market of people who go, all right, let me check it out and see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen.
I think those
who are these people? What's going on?
Those people they're going for.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I think it'd be fun. Real quick, what's besides the ladder? You said All Out and the ladder match obviously was kind of your thing. Did you think All Out achieved what you thought it would? Going into TNT's, going into the AEW TV show, do you think that they accomplished what they wanted?
Yeah, I think all they wanted was to set up storylines and to get the first champion out of the way and to set everything up for the first 6 episodes of their show. And they did all of that. You have Cody and his story arc still going.
Yep.
You got the new champion. You have a women's match set up. You have the tag title tournament setting up.
Mm-hmm.
You have literally just everything set up almost perfectly.
Right.
And worked out very well.
Really well, right, for sure.
Yeah.
But just a quick note on NXT UK Takeover. I thought that show was phenomenal. Outside of the opening match between Travis Banks and the Scottish Super Noam Dar, I thought that match was terrible. But I thought the tag match, the triple threat tag match, was something that I think everybody needs to go watch. If you haven't seen it, you should. Especially if you're not in the spoilers, I'm not gonna tell you who wins. But that match really told a great story, and as somebody who's a very story-driven guy like myself, I thought they did a really nice job of making everything make sense. From partners telling you, go get them, I got these guys, we got to divide, all that kind of stuff was really, really well done. But so both shows good in their own way. I think you're right though. I think All Out was better. So if you haven't bought it yet, go buy it and go watch it and get on the train. I don't know what you're waiting for. It was phenomenal. Once again, congratulations to Chris Jericho. I want to talk next week about him specifically because I think he's entering GOAT status now a little bit.
Oh, you think so?
So I think we should talk about him next week. Much to the behest of Kyle over here, who's like, I don't even know who Chris Jericho is.
You don't listen to Fozzy?
I do. I think Fozzie's great, actually. But anyway, that's going to be it for episode 40. For the man, for the Merc Zone, I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and we will see you guys, as always, next time.
Man, do you just feel that Rod's been such a jerk lately?
Yeah.
Oh, hey guys! Hey, sorry I was late, man. I just shining the old belt here. It's tough being the champ.
Yeah.
Oh man. So what's going on? What's going on? I haven't seen you guys. It was a great show in there. We had a great show. It's been tough. I haven't been able to see you guys much outside of the show. When you're the champ and everything, it's tough. Autographs and public appearances. I mean, I know you guys. I've been champ so long now. It feels like I don't know. It's like you guys don't even want to go after it anymore, which I totally get. I totally get it. You don't think you guys got a shot. I understand. And picked me over you guys, which looking back now, it almost seems like it was academic when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just what it is. So it's tough. Yeah. It's nice having this bad boy right here on me. It's just like, go. I can't.
I can hold it. I gotta get something. God, I gotta find something. What do they have in this household? Oh, this could work. I got a pin. Hey, you go. I got. Get on. What are you doing? This is my belt.
That's my belt.
No, that's my belt.
That's my belt.
No, that's definitely my belt.
It will be my belt.
No, it's definitely gotta be my belt. Why would it be yours?
Because I never won it.
What do you mean? You've won it multiple times. You probably won more than me.
No, but then you take it away.
No, he takes it away. That's why we're trying to get away from him. I'm trying to do that.
I don't get.
Oh my God, I can't.
How do we let him go?
Again?
Just like Shea Patterson in the second half. It's long.
God, unbelievable. Oh my God, every time.
Well, I guess we have next week.
See ya.